Welcome back to Manor Lords. In the last episode, we prepared for war, gearing up with crossbows, ramping up ore production, and trading for armor. And when the time came, we struck hard, claiming 2 of Hildebolt's 3 regions. But while we've expanded our territory, our treasury's in shambles, and we're about to be deep in debt to the crown. And here's why. First, to keep morale high during wartime, we stopped taxing our people. Second, we're heavily reliant on imports: barley, stone, roof tiles, and even all of our armor. If we want true prosperity, that has to change. On top of that, our citizens are missing out on the finer things in life. Things like clothing and honey, the luxuries that make a city thrive. So today our mission is clear: break free from trade dependence and build wealth. We need a stable economy with a surplus of money at all times. To do that, we're going to be founding new villages, each with its own specialization. Instead of relying on outside trade, they'll supply our main city directly. We'll also make one critical change to the food supply in our main city that will leave us with a huge surplus of food and the ability to feed the rest of the region. And if you're ready to expand our humble empire, hit the like button. Or if you'd rather see us recreate Manhattan in Manor Lords, hit the like button for that too, and let me know how you feel in the comments below. Or leave your favorite emoji for the sake of engagement. But before we dive in, so we've established that one of our major goals today is feeding our virtual citizens. But what about you? What are you eating today? Another sad desk lunch? Don't do that to yourself. Instead, fuel up with food from today's video sponsor, Factor. I've been a paying Factor customer for years, and for good reason. They make eating well not just easy, but actually enjoyable. Perfect for someone who's busy like me. I've got to tell you, their meals are fantastic. I just had one of my favorites: loaded bacon shredded chicken with sauteed spinach, green beans, and ranch sour cream. It's the kind of meal that stops me from ordering takeout because it's delicious, satisfying, and ready in 2 minutes. That's convenience without compromise. And if that's not your style, no problem. Factor offers 35 fresh meals every week, plus plans tailored to fit your needs. Whether you're looking for calorie smart, keto, protein plus, vegan, and vegetarian, they've got it all. They've also got 60 plus add-on items every week, from breakfast items to snacks and drinks. Personally, I'm a big fan of their juices. Don't sleep on those. So feed yourself better than we're going to be feeding our citizens, because as fun as an all-fish diet sounds, you deserve more. So head to factor75.com or click on the link below and use code 50cityplannerplays for 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's 50cityplannerplays at factor75.com for 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. A huge thank you to Factor for sponsoring another video. Now let's get back to it. I think it's about time that we expand into other regions. But we've got one problem that we have to overcome before we can do that. We don't have any money in our treasury. We need at least 250 in our treasury to be able to buy a settler. Right now, we've got 44. What makes this worse is we are about to have our taxes collected in 6 days, and we don't have enough money for that even. And even if we were to tax 100% of our regional wealth, we still wouldn't have enough. Now, this all comes down to trade. So I want to look back at the last year, and we can see that we've imported more than we've exported. So as a result of that, we are out of money. It's pretty easy to figure out the problem. You can see that we've imported a whole bunch of helmets, a whole bunch of barley, interestingly enough, and a whole bunch of armor. So we are going to completely stop doing that. And the first order of business today is to actually go to our trading post and stop importing everything. So I won't import stone anymore. I won't import roof tiles. We're going to stop importing barley. And since we recently beefed up production, that shouldn't be a problem. And then we'll also stop importing mail armor and helmets. So at some point, we're going to want to produce these ourselves, though it won't be in our main city. So now we are going to go into the negative for a little while. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Instead, I want to try to ensure that we're really zooming things around the map as best we can. I really want to improve our storehouses and our marketplaces. So to that end, we're going to need some more citizens. So I want to see if there is anything that we can improve around here, adding extra living space if we can. And then while those are building out, I've been thinking a lot about that development point that we have available, and I think I want to unlock bakeries. This will take the flour that we already have and make it go twice as far. Now, one of the things I didn't realize is that policies are specific to regions. So as a result, we have the opportunity to unlock a whole bunch of different policies in different regions. So I think bakeries makes a ton of sense here. So to that end, we're going to want to build a bakery. And I believe that we have a couple of level 3 burgage plots right here that have chickens. Not anymore. Now you are a baker. And I think that we'll upgrade this one as well, but we need to have more people in a region before we can do that. Now, since we're doing this, I'm going to decommission our communal oven, and that'll actually give us a couple more citizens, so I should be able to change this over right away. And then the other thing that I want to do is rebuild our marketplace. So we are going to be adding a ton of stalls. So I'm going to relocate the market from right here across the street. And now we are unfortunately in debt to the king, so the waiting game begins. Now that everything has been constructed, we have our 2 bakers right here. They're going to be producing twice as much bread, so we should start to see the amount of food that we have explode. But we're going to have to wait until all of our fields are harvested. Now, the other thing that's happened while we waited is we have a whole bunch of money now. So I'm going to do something that's going to upset everybody, but get us into a pretty good place. I'm going to tax us at a really high rate for just 1 month. So at the end of April, I will take 50% of the money from our regional wealth and move that over to our treasury. That will get us out of debt and put us in a place where we could purchase a settler if we wanted to. And since we're thinking about our basic supplies, I want to think about fuel as well. And we were spreading out what our forester was doing. I want to tighten that up because I see that we're running out of trees here. Let's limit their work area. And then I also want to take a look at our charcoal kiln. We only have 1 person here right now. I want to max this out. And I want to do the exact same thing at our woodcutter's lodge. So we're going to have to wait until more people move into the community. There's plenty of available living space. And now it's May and we transferred a whole bunch of money into our treasury and people are furious with us. So we are going to take it back to where it was before. Actually, let's set it to 0 for just a little bit to make people happy. After our happiness is above 50% and people are moving in once again, at that point, raise it back up to maybe 10%, which should be a sustainable level to keep money going into our treasury while still keeping our citizens happy. I've let a couple months go by and our approval is through the roof. Everyone loves living here, though they do have a memory of that taxation. Still, it is time to start taxing them once again, and I'll just bump this up to 10%. They can deal with that. That will give us 170 moved into our treasury at the end of the month. Now, this is important because I want to have at least 750 in there because then we can have a fully stocked settlement camp. And that is exactly what I'd like to do for our first city. We've also got a couple new immigrants, and because of that, I want to start adding more people to our storehouse. So I'm going to add 2 here for now, and the goal before we leave this city is going to be to have all of our storehouses and all of our granaries completely full of people so that we are completely set here in this city. Because as we can tell right here, there are a number of people who are saying that requirements are not met, and I think it's going to be fairly easy to fix that. All we have to do is have a completely full marketplace. Now, this little experiment's been going on for about 15 months, and things have really turned around for our community. You can see that our approval's at 65%. Our citizens are still upset about that previous taxation, but they're getting over it as time passes. We've also got almost $3,000 in regional wealth, almost $3,000 in our treasury, and the king thinks that we're doing well enough that he's increased the royal tax 3 times to almost $600 a year. Now, while we were waiting, I added a whole bunch of workers. So now our large storehouse, our granary right here, our other storehouse and our other granary have a full slate of employees. And as a result, our market is almost completely full. There's only 1 free stall location. And that satisfied the needs for basically every home around here. So before we move on from this community, I want to upgrade a whole bunch of buildings. And I want to start out with one that is kind of probably not on your radar, the tavern. I want to have a large tavern here because it'll provide more entertainment. And then I want to see if there are any homes around here that we can upgrade. And indeed there are. And I want to upgrade all of these because then they'll all generate regional wealth. And now with all of that complete, our village looks amazing. We're still seeing our surpluses increasing, our budget's improving every single month, our happiness is going up. I think that we're in an excellent spot to found those new villages. Before we purchase our settler, let's talk about what each new village is going to specialize in. I think we're going to start out over here because I really want to build something around this fishing pond. So this village is going to specialize in both clay as well as the fishing pond. So I want to make sure that we're unlocking policies that are very supportive of this, especially now that we know we can unlock specific policies for a region. So underneath here, I'm guessing that we're going to go down the charcoal burning and deep mining route so that we can have unlimited clay. We're also going to want to unlock advanced pond keeping. And I think I also want to unlock beekeeping and advanced beekeeping so that we have honey and wax. Now that would be 5 policies, meaning that we'd have to level this village up at least as far as we leveled up our first one. Then we'll build a small village here. And to begin with, this village will be 100% about extracting stones from this stone deposit. And even though it's a rich deposit, it will deplete over time because this is not an area that we mine, it's an area that we place a stone cutter. So because of that, we need to think about the second act for this region, and it's going to be all about farming. And that's because this is one of the most fertile areas on the map. If you look at our emmer fertility, it's basically fertile everywhere. For flax, it's much the same story. For barley, it's fertile everywhere as well. And if we unlock rye, we can farm the entire area. And with that in mind, we are going to try to unlock 5 development points, and we're going to use them all in the top quadrant here. The first thing I want to unlock is heavy plow. After that, I want to unlock orchardry because I've never actually done it. Then we'll pursue sheep breeding, fertilization, and rye cultivation. And with those policies unlocked, this region will be an absolute powerhouse of farming. And that means that whenever we take over this region right here, our main focus has to be armor making. So to that end, we're going to need to unlock basic armor making, then advanced armor making, and master armor making. But first, we have to settle our second village, and for that, we'll purchase a settler. And I'm going to place the settlers fairly close to this fishing pond right here. And one of the reasons I wanted to have so much money in the treasury is you have the ability to purchase more resources if you have the money. So we have enough to go for plentiful resources, which will make it really easy to start building this city up quickly. So that's 750 gold out of our treasury, and we still have over 2,500, so we're in a perfectly fine spot. Now, before we do anything here, I want to lay out a couple of roads. This will be the basic layout of the community. The focal point is really going to be this pond right here. I'm thinking that we're going to have our fisherman's hut right here, some homes right here, our church, and maybe a village green up in this area right here, and then more homes along this road. We're also going to have a road that cuts back here and takes care of some of these resources, which are a finite resource, at least for these two. And then once we clear those, we have more areas for homes and maybe farms. But first things first, we need to stabilize this little village, so I want to make sure that we are chopping down some trees. I'm going to place this logging camp right out the King's Road. And out right next to that, I'm going to place our saw pit and a woodcutter's lodge. Then, going back to where our community is going to be, I'm going to start to queue up some buildings here as well. And we'll build our fisherman's hut right here next to the pond. And then I'll build the granary right here and the storehouse right next to it. And then we'll finish off by building our burgage plots right here. Now, as much as I would love to see this continue getting built, a band of raiders is now here and we have to defend ourselves. Thankfully, they've shown up over here because they would have caused some real damage over there. So let's begin by rallying our troops. And I'm going to attempt to take some of the advice that was given to me in the comments and slow down, calm down, and not charge at anybody. So I'm going to set up the crossbow militia first, and we're going to have them back here. And I have them in a nice row all the way across here. I'll take the retinue and I'll place them kind of close to the front. And then everyone else will be just behind. And I'm moving these couple units up. And we're just going to let them attack us right here. We're on the higher ground. They should be at a disadvantage. And oh my goodness, we're actually not in our home territory. This is a mistake. I'm going to bring us back a little bit. And I'm going to take the archers and back them up as well. Oh no. This is a classic me mistake. And I will cut these guys off on the side to hopefully stop them from going straight at us. And oh no. Okay. They turned around. That's good. Thankfully, they turned around because they would have gone straight towards our crossbowmen. And we got some cheering over here. That's not good. And then I'm moving more troops in, and we're just going to push. Oh, look at that. We got the influence because we broke them already. We'll push these guys forward, push them forward as well. It's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty. That was really, really easy. And now that that's done, we can disband all of our units. And we have almost enough influence now to claim Hildebolt's final land. And honestly, now that we have so much food, I might tithe just a little bit until we have 2,000 influence. And just by building those few things, we've leveled up our settlement, and that is wonderful because we need to unlock the advanced pond keeping right away. This will double our stock of fish at our fishing pond. Now with that in mind, we should probably start fishing this, especially because I believe that this is a seasonal asset. It is. So I'll add one fisherman right here. But I also want to take a look at our lumber supply chain. We're going to add one logger right here. We'll add one worker at our saw pit. And we'll also add one person here at our woodcutter's lodge. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is it means that we now don't have enough people to staff both our granary and our warehouse. So we're going to have to staff that the moment that we can. I also need to make sure that for our logging camp, we're setting the area that we're logging. And I'm going to limit this to this area right here, right near this stream. And I actually have to call one minor mulligan. We don't have anyone moving these supplies into these buildings. We absolutely must have that. So I'm going to remove someone from our saw pit and just assign one person here at our storehouse and one person here at our granary. Now, in addition to that, I'm going to lay out a couple more things. I said I want to make sure that we've got a space for our church. That'll be right here. Our market and our village green will be right next to that. So I'll build our marketplace right here. And this should serve us well for quite some time. Now back over here at our lumber area, I'm going to remove our woodcutter for just a little while, and that's because we currently have 8 months of general supplies on hand, so there's no real need for us to have more fuel. But that one surplus unassigned family means that we can build some more stuff, and build more stuff is exactly what we're going to do. And that's because we have to start thinking about having a pack station. A pack station is going to be how we get goods from this region to our other region and vice versa. So to that end, I'm going to place this very close to our King's Road. I think I might actually place this right about here, right next to our marketplace. And on second thought, this would be kind of stinky. So I'm going to place it right here. And then along with that, our happiness is now at 50%, which means that people will start moving here soon. So I want to build a few more homes. And now that we have a pack station, we've got to purchase a mule. That'll cost us 25 regional wealth. And then we've got to set up our trade here. And I think that we're going to obviously trade with the only region that has a city. And we're going to send fish, the only resource that we have, and get back bread. But trading goes both ways. So I'm going to set up another one of these pack stations over in our first city. And I'll build this pack station right here. And then at this one, I'm going to make sure that we have that mule and that we're assigning a family to work here so it's more efficient. And then this time, I want to send some sort of clothing over to that community. So I'll send leather and receive fish in return. And while we wait for more people to move into this community, let's build a few more things. First, I'm going to build a road, and I'm going to see if I can sneak it behind here. I can't. I'll sneak it off to the side. This is going to go to our clay deposit. And I'm going to stop that because we can have 2 different clay mines here. But it looks like we have to have planks for that. So since our fishermen can't work in the winter, we'll remove them from here and assign them to the saw pit. And in no time at all, we have enough planks to build both mines, so I'll do that. Now, the whole reason that we've done this is we've basically created another currency. So we should be able to add a worker here. And then if we open up another one of these pack stations, we can trade away some of the clay and get another resource from our main city. So let's open up another one of these right across the street from the one that we already have. And I will set this one up after we order our mule. And we'll send them clay in exchange for crossbows. Now that we're sending clay to the other community, I want to make sure that we get our clay furnace set up. But before we do that, I want to queue up a couple of things here. So I'm going to build a couple of homes right here, right along this road. And now we'll head back over to our original settlement and fire up the clay furnace that we haven't been using for quite some time. And I think we'll just send one person here because we're not going to have all that much clay for quite a while. One of the primary reasons I wanted to open up all of these new homes is that we can completely fill up our fisherman's hut, which we can now do. The fishing pond here has a potential for 1,430 food, so this should be an excellent source of food for this village and an incredible currency to trade with our first village. Now I have a couple more goals here. I want to build the church, which means that we have to move this hitching post. And I'm going to place the church right in the center of this plot. And then one of my final goals here is going to be to level up some of these homes that we're starting to generate some regional wealth here. And if we take a look, we can see that we're missing water access. We'll just build a well. And then we're missing food stall supply. So we're not getting the bread here yet, which means that we must have to staff our pack station. So we're going to have to wait for more people to move into the community because I'm also noticing that we're low on fuel. So I'm going to add someone right here to our woodcutter's lodge. And then I'm going to queue up our well. And thankfully, there's no shortage of places to place it here. I'm going to place it right here, actually. And then I also want to build a forester because I can already tell that we're chopping down all the trees right here. And then because I can never stop building things, there's one more building that I want to build. That's one more pack station. Now, the purpose of this one is going to be to take some of our firewood and get it out of here in exchange for coal. And that also means that we're likely going to need a few more homes here. So now that all of that is built, I'm going to get this pack station set up here. Once again, that's firewood for charcoal, which I think makes a ton of sense. I've also got to buy a mule. And then I'm going to assign some employees here. So I'm doing this at our first one first. This is the one that's going to give us bread. Our second one is the one that'll give us crossbows. And then I'll hold off on this third one until we have one more family here. We still have a little bit of regional wealth, so I will add farms to the back of these larger burgage plots. So a vegetable garden in the back of both of those. And then I'm going to add some chickens and at least some of these. And now that we've added chicken coops back here, we should have affordable eggs, which is great because in the real world, they're anything but. And I've let things run for a little while and we're still not quite ready to level up. The big thing that we're missing is just that second food supply. So it's going to take a little while for that to shake out. I'm going to make a couple of changes, though, before we move on from the city. I want to make sure that we've got a family assigned here at the pack station. And then I want to upgrade both our storehouse, which is completely full, and our granary, which is half full. And with that, this little city should be fairly stabilized. So let's build our second new village. But before we do that, I want to stop tithing because we currently have 3,000 influence, or way more than we need to claim that final region. And now that we've done that, let's purchase another settler. And for this one, I think I'm going to place this right on the top of the hill, right near our deposits. And again, we'll go for plentiful starting supplies. Our first objective in this village is going to be to extract the resources at the top of the hill. So to that end, we're going to need to grow up a bit of a population. So I want to begin this village just like I did the last one by drawing in a couple of roads. And the first road that I want to draw is going to be right here up the hill, following this goat path. And we'll connect this up with the road going to Linek. The second road I'm going to draw is going to be a little bit strange, and that's going to be linking this King's Road up to Linek. The whole purpose of this road is going to be to increase the speed of the pack houses in Linek. The secondary reason is I think that this will look like a realistic road going through here, and it'll just improve the aesthetics of the region. I want to draw one more road along this stream, and that's going to follow the stream and the forest right here. And that's because I want to make sure that we're collecting the wild berries. And right away, I'm going to build that forager's hut because I want to collect these before the fall. And now let's focus our attention at the top of the hill. And I want to draw a circular road all the way around our tent camp here. This is going to be our village green. And I'll link this up with the road that we just created a moment ago. And I'll send another road past our stone collection here. And this is going to be important because it's where I want to place our first homes. And I'm going to keep these relatively modest in size because I want some density at the top of the hill, and then we'll really start to taper back as we get away from this little village green. Now we've also got to think about our lumber supply, and to that end, I want to place a logging camp right here. Now that might not be the most obvious place, but we've got some wild animals right here. We've got our berries right there, and I really don't want to encroach upon the hillside right here. So I think that this might be the only reasonable place to knock down some trees. And since we're placing this here, I'm also going to add our storehouse, and for the sake of simplicity, our granary as well. And then lastly, we have to have a saw pit, otherwise we won't be able to build buildings. And now that we've built all of this, we also need to build a woodcutter's lodge. And that's because we're about to run out of fuel. So I'll place this fairly close to our lumber camp. And then I want to see if we are done collecting berries here. Indeed we are. I assigned a couple of workers here while we were building things. I'm going to remove them for now. And I'm going to assign one of those workers right here to our logging camp. And then once our woodcutter's lodge is done, I'll assign one here. Now, in addition to that, we also need to build a market. And I think I'll add it right here. Once we start to have some market stalls here, I have a feeling that our approval will jump above 50%, and we're going to need additional homes so we get more people to move into our community. So I'm going to build some of those now. And now that these are built, we just need to wait for some wood to be harvested. And that reminds me, I want to make sure that we are harvesting in a very deliberate way. So I'm going to set our work area to be right back here and nowhere else. And then I want to use the development point that we have. We unlocked one development point when we built our first 5 burgage plots, and I've been thinking about it. I think I want to go for orchardry right away. And I want to do this because the trees are going to take 3 to 4 years to be mature, so it's going to take a while to see a benefit from the orchards. Now, orchards are a backyard extension, so I want to build some larger lots where we can have some large orchards. And now I want to buy the backyard extension for each of these. And these are 50 gold each, so we're going to completely exhaust our reserves, but I think it's worth it. And I'll expand the living space at each of these homes as well. And while we were building these homes, one new family moved into the community. We also chopped a whole bunch of firewood. We now have a 22-month supply. So I will disable our woodcutter's lodge. And I want to take that employee and assign them to the saw pit. And the main reason for that is we're going to need some planks if we want to build our stonecutter's camp. In addition, I want to make sure that we're getting more food, so we'll assign a family here to our forager's hut. We're in kind of a strange spot where our happiness is at 49% and will not improve. So I'm going to force improvement by building a church. And then I also want to build a well. And holy cow, there's water everywhere here. And now that our church is done, our happiness should be above 50% any moment. Now I noticed that we have this hitching post right here. I don't love this, so we're gonna move this. And I think I'm gonna place this near our granary. And then I need to upgrade the storehouse. It is completely full. And let's upgrade the granary while we're at it. And we are indeed now above 50% approval, so more families should start moving into our community in short order. So we're gonna sit tight and let them move in. And we now have a band of raiders in our community, and oh my goodness, they are coming over here. We've got to stop them. We've got to stop them. So we are going to see if we can get any mercenaries. And it looks like our local thugs will show up in this area. So we'll sign the contract. Honestly, we'll hire everybody. And then I'm also going to take all of our units and rally them right here. And now we're unfortunately going to have to see what happens. Thankfully, it looks like they are turning around and going towards the couple of brigands that we brought in here. And all the rest of the troops are running over to this area. So we're just going to have to see what happens. Well, this doesn't look good. Our troops are way over here, and they just beat the brigands that we had hired. So I have a feeling that they're going to burn a few things down, which is really unfortunate because this is a very happy place. We've also got a couple of unassigned families. So while we're over here, why don't we hire a forester and another woodcutter because we are currently short on fuel. So obviously we have priorities. And let's hope our people get here fast. Oh my goodness. They're burning our whole city down. Oh my goodness. This is insane. Oh my goodness. And they're going to be long gone well before we even greet them. So they've burned down all of Linek. So we have to rebuild. And we'll also disband our gigantic military because obviously they're not doing anything right now. Now, since we're over here, I just want to see if we can level up any of these buildings, and it looks like we can't for the exact same reason as before, not enough food or not enough food diversity. So to that end, I want to try to collect some more food locally, but we have to have more citizens for that. So let's build a couple more homes. And then we have a wild animal deposit over here. Let's collect from there. And we immediately got 2 new families to move in, so I'm going to assign those 2 families to our hunting camp. And then soon enough, we should have the ability to upgrade a couple of these buildings. And look at that. Actually, right away, we can upgrade these ones. Now back over here in Earlhart, we have a ton of unassigned families, so I want to do something with them. Let's build our stonecutter's camp. And I also want to build a mining pit because I want this clay deposit to be gone. And I think we should also build a hunting camp here because we're starting to run low on food. And now let's assign some families. I'm going to assign 1 right here to our hunting camp, 2 right here to our mining pit, and 4 to our stonecutter camp. And since we'll be harvesting all of this stone, we should start to trade it to our main city. So I want to build another pack station right here in the downtown area. And for this one, I just want to trade food over to Earlhart. So let's see what food is the most prevalent in our village. It looks like it's vegetables, so we'll send vegetables and we'll receive stone. And we have to assign a family here and purchase a mule. And now we'll wait until vegetables show up here. Now, interestingly, all we're missing to be able to upgrade all of these homes is a tannery. That's because we're missing clothes at all of these homes, and we already have a hunting camp. So let's go ahead and build a tannery. And funny enough, we don't have any wood, and that's because we've taken 100% of our wood and converted it to planks. That was a mistake. So let's go ahead and disable our saw pit, and now we'll build our tannery. And I'm going to build this way out of town because it would be very stinky. And now we can upgrade literally every house in our community. Actually, all but these two. We don't have lumber to upgrade this one, and this one still doesn't have access to clothing. And now that all of our homes are upgraded, we're finally starting to generate some regional wealth, which means that we can add backyard extensions here and start to buy things that cost money. But what I'm more interested in is that our mining pit is now empty, as is our stonecutter camp, so we can now decommission these. And that leaves us with a ton of workers for farms, which I think we'll get to in the next one. There's one final thing that we have to take care of today. We're sitting in a pretty good place with our food, but we currently only have 1 month of fuel remaining. So I want to assign 1 more worker right here at our woodcutter's lodge and try to get this to be equal with the amount of food that we have. And after just a few months, we have over a year of food and fuel in our storage, and we're ready to start growing this city and ready to start building all of those farms. But I think that that's something that we have to take on in the next one. And to wrap things up today, we'll take a stroll around our 2 new communities. So let's start out here in Lineck, and honestly, I really love this community. I feel like the design of this place really makes sense based on its location, and honestly, I really love the fishing pond. I didn't realize how productive it was going to be, but boy oh boy, this little community feels like I could basically build anything that I want in it. And it didn't take long to get to that point. It's not like our first city, which took a little while to get there. This one was just rip-roaring and ready to go right away, all because it had a ton of food. I feel like we could do anything here that we want to do. And it looks really, really nice as well. Earlhart is nice as well, but it's admittedly much more sparse. Things don't feel quite as supercharged here just yet. And I think that that is kind of a testament to what this city is, which is a place that's in transition. We've finished up all of our mining, and now it's time to move into farming. And at that point, once we reach the apex of farming, I think things are going to move really quickly here as well. But for now, it is really nice that we have a community that was really easy to upgrade. I don't think I've ever had a city where I could just kind of wholesale upgrade every single building at once, but it happened here, which is pretty darn cool. And I really think that we got a great start on these villages today. And in the next one, we're going to really take them up to the next level. But for today, I think that we're going to leave it here. And I really hope that you've enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And I want to thank you so much for your time today. There's a million things that you could have been doing. You decided to hang out with me and play a bit of Manor Lords, and for that, I appreciate you and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.